Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda. This is a vlog of my late autism and ADHD diagnosis journey. And I am laughing because I have a video idea that I'm working on, but I don't think I'm going to go there yet. It has to do with aphantasia. But as soon as I started this video, that one idea popped into my head. I don't like to vague post, but we're going to do that today, right now. I need to think on it a little bit more. But today, I want to talk a little bit about what success is. What does success look like for an autistic person? And I want to delve a little bit into the harmful terms of mild and severe autism. And if you have been somebody who has used those terms, I invite you to stick around and listen to what I have to say and think about maybe not using them in the future. So also, I kind of want to talk a little bit about unmasking, because this has been my vlog from, pre-diagnosis. Like, I started this channel about aphantasia and my memory disorder, SDAM, and I started it about a month or so before I realized that I might be autistic. One of my very first videos within like the first month is, am I autistic? And that's because at that time I was doing research trying to find supports for my kids and trying to figure out what limitations was happening for them in their life. And that's when I realized that autism often presents very differently than how social media and the media represents it, and often very much looks different in assigned female at birth, and that there are like thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of us that weren't diagnosed as children when we really should have been. And then, so I actually got diagnosed about a month after my kids when I was 42 years old. So anyway, part of that has been unmasking. So the autistic mask is a survival thing that your brain does because being different is dangerous. If you think about it, anytime people are different, they are othered, they are made fun of, they are not given the same opportunities as people that follow the pack, follow the rules, right? So the autistic brain is really good at pattern recognition. And so in order to not be different, it starts creating a mask. And so and I think I say it like it's a separate entity. Because it's like the amygdala, that like survival part of your brain, pattern recognizes behaviors of people around you and then starts emulating those choices, behaviors, sometimes vocal sounds. Like if I am around somebody who has a different vocal accent than I do, I will pick up their accent. And that's because the brain sometimes isn't so super great at it, because while the mechanism is that you are now blending in with the people around you, if you aren't supposed to have that mechanism, it actually does make you stand out. So it's not a perfect thing, but most of the time the mask does have you blend in to your like surroundings. But two things. One, that takes a lot of brain power that allistic people, that's non-autistic people, are not doing. And it takes a lot of like this background processing, and your stress levels are on the constant up high level, because your brain is constantly like processing, how do I need to assimilate? And secondly, wait, where was I going with that? Oh, tangents. The mask. I wasn't aware of my mask. I had no idea I was masking. I did not learn about masking until I learned about autism, and I learned that this is a survival technique that happens for a lot of late diagnosed autistic people. And so then retrospectively, I could see how it played out in my life. Oh, I know. My second part was actually the fact that basically, at least how it played out for me, and every single autistic person's mask is going to be different. But for me, it played out where I didn't really create my own opinions because, again, I wanted to blend in. I didn't want to stand out. So I never had really strong opinions on anything. And it left me really kind of a blank shell of a woman. Like, by the time I hit 40, I was almost starting to see my own mask because I'm like, who am I? What do I stand for? Like, nothing resonated because my mask just never really let me speak those, like, any kind of internal desire that I had was shoved so deep down that, like, I did not have access to it. My brain dissociated and literally would not give me access to things. So, I remember a couple of years ago, probably about 10 years ago, maybe, I was homeschooling my kids at that time, and I was not diagnosed yet, and I was at, like, just trying to survive, and I'd read an article that people like Bill Gates and other really high-powered men would only go out and buy one color shirt and one pair of pants, color pants, and buy like 10 of them, and that was their wardrobe because they didn't want to have to spend time thinking about their outfits in the day. And when I read that, I was like, this is so brilliant. This is the solution I needed, because I was unintentionally at that time trying to accommodate my brain. I was so already starting to get exhausted, my 30s, that I was looking for ways to streamline my life. So I went out and bought like 10 pairs of gray and black and navy, because I went ahead and did 3 colors, if you can call black, gray, and navy 3 different colors. V-neck, because I don't like high collar shirts. I will wear them occasionally, but I like a lot of space up here because anything around my neck always feels very confining for me. So again, like, something about myself knew that, but not enough to put a finger on it. Like, I bought the V-necks, but I couldn't explain why at that time. So I bought these V-neck shirts, and at that time I was still wearing blue jeans because that's just like the mom uniform. And pretty much every single day I would grab a gray shirt and a pair of blue jeans and then start my day. That got really, really tiring and old. Like, I got really tired of gray. It was helpful. Like, it really did help. Like, it did take a lot of pressure off me trying to have to find outfits and things. But since then, and again, before my diagnosis, I got tired of the gray. I wanted to add some more color into my life because I did like color. But I've never been very good at putting outfits together. Like, as a graphic artist, I was an architecture major. I have a lot of art background, but fashion, I love looking at fashion, but I struggle to put fashion on me. And a lot of that is because of the sensory limitations that I had, but didn't have enough language around to define. So when I got tired of the gray, I went out and started buying a couple of colorful outfits here and there, but I didn't know what to look for sensory-wise. So none of those outfits would ever work. They would just stay in my closet because I'd pull it out and something about it would bother me, and so I wouldn't wear it. And so I would default back to my V-neck shirts. So lately, I have been trying to, at age 44, kind of find out my style. I bought these purple overalls that are like a kind of a fake linen material. So they're very lightweight. And then my son helped me pair it with this teal square necked shirt. And because I originally bought a white shirt to go with it. And my son was like, no, that contrast isn't right. And so both my kids are really like, they're really good artists, and especially with color. So I paired it with this teal shirt for now. I'd like to pair it with some other shirts too, like mix and match it up occasionally. But like right now, if I can just have like, okay, this outfit goes together. And I would love to be able to wear a necklace, but I can only wear necklaces for very short periods of time. Otherwise, again, it feels like too much around my neck. This is my mic right here, but somebody suggested that I get some brooches, which I think there are modern ones. Like originally when I heard brooch, I was thinking like those jeweled crusted, like butterflies. And well, I do like butterflies, but it's just not my style. Okay. But I think there are some modern ones and or enamel pens, because there are a lot of really cute enamel pens that I love. Like I have one on my purse that is the Autism infinity symbol. And so being able to maybe wear a pen kind of, I mean, a necklace would be great, but a pen would still like give a little bit of something. I am able to wear earrings. You'll see me wearing earrings in a lot of my videos. They have to be very lightweight. I just didn't put any in today, but I do like earrings. I have a couple silicone rings that I'll wear occasionally, but even those start to bother me after a while. My eyebrow ring doesn't bother me. Like I don't even wear it. I'm not even aware of it. And my smartwatch bothers me, but I've been trying to track my steps. So I wear it as much as I can. And then some days I just can't, but I am able to wear my smartwatch occasionally. But all of this to say, being able to unmask in this way, find my style, and realize that I really love bold colors. I think my son said I look like an elementary art school teacher is my style, and I'm like, I'm here for that. And I've bought a couple of new things lately, so I'm really excited to keep exploring that and looking for things that are comfortable. I don't own any jeans right now, and making sure the materials and the cuts. Oh, and even this shirt, I was really excited to find this is called a half sleeve, because most sleeves stop here and then they bunch up and irritate me. Like I feel them. And 3/4 sleeves go to your mid arm, and that tickles. Like it feels like it needs to be longer. So I can wear a full length sleeve like in the winter, and then this is called a half sleeve, and it goes right above my elbow, and it will sometimes pull up a little bit, but not too bad, and it actually feels comfortable. So it's like, yes. So part of my unmasking is being able to express myself through clothing, but still also respect my autistic sensory needs and find clothes that are comfortable. Okay, so I did not know I was going to talk about that for 14 minutes, but here we are. So the second part my socks are bothering me today. That's the next thing I need to do, spend some time trying to find socks that don't slide down all the time, that also don't break the bank, because there's some really nice, good socks out there, but they're also very, very expensive. So I'm trying to do all this like shopping on a budget too. Anyway, which kind of brings me to the second part, success. Second part of the video that I want to talk about was, what is autistic success? And success is so subjective. Like, it's incredibly subjective what success means to you. In this capitalistic society, success often means that you are providing for yourself, you're making enough money to provide for your needs. I don't think that's the only measure of success. It is the society standard. For me, success would look like, success for me personally would be that I'm not, it's hard because so I pretty much rely on my husband's salary to take care of our family. And that's cool. I'm very lucky, appreciative, and very grateful for that. But I would also like to have some success independent from my husband. And for me, like I said, for me personally, that doesn't mean that necessarily I would be able to support myself because I'm lucky that I don't have to. And I also acknowledge that that isn't the same that a lot of autistic people in my community have that privilege. So I do acknowledge that. So I'm talking about for me personally. For me personally, I would like to be able to make enough money that I can provide some accommodations for myself, because hitting burnout has had such skill regression on my life that I do not have the same skills that I had 10 years ago. And it's a reality that I'm having to face on almost daily basis lately. And I know it's hard for allistic people to look at me and see that because, again, I appear high functioning, which again, I'm going to talk about in a minute. Second, for me, for success would be what I'm doing right now with this channel. I'm hoping to do even on a bigger scale, make a difference in the world around autism and disability advocacy in general. I am so passionate that people remove the stigma around being disabled. This is something that I've been passionate about since I was very young. When I was a teenager and learned that my cousin had Down syndrome, I think a special interest just basically was sparked for me at that time, and I didn't even know it because I didn't know the language around it. But again, because of my mask, I didn't form strong opinions. So I was a very quiet disability advocate. When I was on like online forums and somebody maybe makes fun of somebody with disability or would say something that ableist, I might leave a very gentle comment. Back then, you know, like I would do this occasionally very subtly, but never like full on out speaking about it. And now that part of my mask is like, whew, I am loud, proud, disabled, and a big disability advocate. And I want to help other people remove the internalized ableism that they maybe have grown up with around disability. Okay, my son needed something, so that kind of threw me off track. But so I was talking about disability advocacy. So making a difference for myself. And I've been very thankful that this channel monetized. When I started this channel, I was not with the goal of monetizing. My goal was to monetize my other channel, my cooking channel, which since then I have mostly let go because it's a product review and food channel. Again, due to skill regression, I have not really been able to keep up with that channel. But I was hoping that YouTube would provide me a little bit of an income just so that I could provide some supports for myself. Right now, I've been able to hire a house cleaner twice a month off of the income that I've made off both channels, because I do have two channels monetized. The other one only has like 3,000 subscribers and does not make that much money, but any money, you know, it's great, right? That might be changing for some reason, even though my subscriber count on this channel keeps going up and up, which I appreciate and love so much, because that to me is that first measure of success. Like, I'm reaching more people. That's like a super amazing marker of success for me. for whatever reason, and I haven't really delved into the analytics as much, like each video has something called RPM, which is like rate per million or something. I don't know if my RPM has gone down. Like I said, I don't really deep dive into my analytics very much. I just know that even though my subscriber count is going up, my revenue is going down. And so the last month, I did not make enough to have my house cleaners, to afford my house cleaners. And this month it's looking like it's going to be even lower. Now I did make more some previous months, so I can kind of carry it over, but I don't know. But my eventual goal is to be able to have house cleaners come twice a month, to possibly hire a personal trainer that understands chronic pain and neurodivergent brains, because working with a typical physical therapist isn't going to work for my body, because I have chronic joint pain and have had my whole life. And there's probably some other supports that I would love, because as any of y'all who are autistic know, autistic people do not get supports from our government. Like, any accommodations that I have are things that we pay for out of my salary from YouTube or my husband's salary. And I also have 2 autistic ADHD kids who require support, such as going to occupational therapy and various things. And I did just write a novel, and I'm working to get it published, and hopefully that will also help towards my income. So I'm sharing all of this to say is, when people use labels like mild or severe autism or high functioning and low functioning autism, I've talked about this before in the past, but it's so ingrained into our society with the term autism, and it's got to stop. It's got to stop. Because I cannot hold a typical job. My abilities would not allow me to functionally for very long. I'm sure I could get a job and work at it for a couple of months before I would hit a burnout and then have to quit. Possibly if I could find a quiet office job with flexible hours and a boss that allowed for a lot of accommodations, I could work. But I'm just saying, like, a typical job, I cannot maintain. So in that way, I am severe autistic, because without my husband's support, I don't even want to imagine what my life would look like. I literally do not want to imagine what it would look like if I didn't have my husband's support. I can't, because the way my brain works, the way my sensory works, the way having pathological demand avoidance profile of autism, all of these things make it where I cannot have a typical job. I would have to get really, really lucky, and it would be still very hard for me to work. And I know people are going to be in the comments and be like, severe autistic people can't even use the bathroom. And that is an important conversation to have. Most of the time, those are also co-occurring or comorbid conditions with autism. Autism, it's a nuanced conversation, because there are autistic people who they get labeled with their autism as their main diagnosis, but having some comorbid conditions make it where they need full-time care all around. And these people are valid, they exist, they need a place in the conversation, they need supports, right? But then there are people like me who are considered low support needs, autistic, because I am very highly capable in many areas, like managing this channel, like writing an entire book, homeschooling my children, navigating the medical system, which is becoming harder and harder for me to do. I've been having a lot of shutdowns, when trying to get my kids and myself situated with new doctors and stuff, like the hurdles and the steps, like make it really, really difficult for my brain to navigate all the forms and phone calls lately. But I'm still able to do that. But that's the point. The point is that when people think of autism and they hear, oh, it's a spectrum, they're thinking that, oh, mild to severe, but that's not how it works. And those terms also really, really, when it comes down to it, are how much does an autistic person annoy society? If it's not very much, it's mild. If it's a lot, it's severe. And those are just so harmful and limiting terms. And so it's something that I've just had to come to terms with. Like, I need a lot of support, and I have it. I'm acknowledging and appreciating that I have a lot of support with my husband and his salary and his support system. But I also am lower support needs in taking care of the family and doing a lot of other things that I am capable of doing. So that's where it's a spectrum. It's not linear. It's a circle. I need supports in this area, not this area. Another autistic person might be able to hold a job very well. Maybe their special interest allowed them to find a career that they just fit into very snugly, but having kids or running a household or managing groceries is something that they cannot do. So they need more supports over there. That's where the spectrum is. It's not a line. It's not more and less. It's where each individual autistic person needs supports. So I hope that helps explain some of that. So get rid of mild autism. Asperger's, also, I'm not going to go into that, but that is a term that got removed from the DSM in 2013. It is no longer diagnosis. Severe autism, high functioning and low functioning autism, all of these terms are out. At the most, we can say high support needs and low support needs, but keep in mind, it really depends on what aspect of the autistic person's life you are talking about. It's not across the board. High support needs for functioning in this capitalistic society because I cannot hold a job. I am lower support needs, taking care of my kids, my family, my groceries, managing household. Anyway, but skill regressions, having house cleaners come twice a month to help me really has made a huge difference for my mental health. Okay. I think I'm in there. I've got to go run some errands. And with that, I'll see you on the next video. Bye, guys.